some answers, some ideas about how you can approach a test. Latanya.
I said read the questions first and read what the questions are asking you.
Good. So read the questions first. Note what the questions are asking you. Maria, what do you think? Go over the questions, eliminate unnecessary answers. Does anybody else have those snaps for Maria?
I did read the questions first, but then might take and go back to the answer.
Okay, good. So anybody else have to read the questions first? Just give Cedric some snaps if you agree and you have the exact same thing. At this point, 4 different ideas have been shared, so you should have something written in that box about something you do when you take a test. Cross out dumb answers, absolutely. The process of elimination. Good. Okay, so snaps to that. So I'm going to teach you an acronym that you could use when you're addressing or when you start your test. An acronym is like a list of letters that spell some things that you can remember it. So what are we studying today? We're going to talk about test-taking strategies. So what is this acronym? It's a set of steps to help you tackle a passage in multiple choice questions. So DT, how can you make this faster? Why are we going to do this? We use test-taking strategies to help us get started and to set a purpose for reading. I'm going to compare this to my day yesterday. I was really excited to have a day off, but I knew that out in my driveway there was this huge pile of mulch that had been dropped off by the landscaping people, like higher than my head. And I literally had to get out there, and I just looked at it and I was like, this is way too much. There's no way. I need my dad to come and help me. There's no way I can do all this mulch. And I can move it all where I need it to be moved. Probably just should have called you guys. So I got my wheelbarrow out, and just one by one, I slowly started to fill the wheelbarrow, push it across the yard, and dump it. Come back, fill the wheelbarrow, push it across the yard, and dump it. And little by little, that huge pile became more like this. And it made me think about test taking. Because it made me think about how sometimes when you get this big old fat packet, that you're going to be, like your test is going to be like this big, huge, bunch of papers. And it can look and you're like, oh, I have 90 minutes to do all this? And sometimes you just need to get started. It's like wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow. Slowly that test is going to be finished. And so we think of it as like a series of steps that you can do this little by little. So when we do these steps, we're going to think of it as the unwrap strategy. The unwrap strategy starts with you. Underline the title and the author and make a prediction. All right, that's our you. And then you can note. N is note what each question is asking. W is write the main points of each paragraph in the margin. So if you get where you're overwhelmed, you're like, okay, what step am I on? Okay, I'm on the W. I'm on the W. I'm going to go through and I'm going to write the main points of each paragraph. And then you're going to remember to use reading strategies. And then you're going to go through and, of course, answer each question. And then your P, your unwrap, the P of unwrap is prove your answers with paragraph numbers. So that will be our strategy. When we get overwhelmed, we have to think to ourselves, okay, what step am I on of this process? And we just keep on going, wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow, and finish up this test. Letter by letter. Unwrap. The U is underline the title and the author and make a prediction. So let's do that. Flip to your next page. Let's underline the title and the author and make a prediction. Even before we get started, what do you know about, for instance, the author? What do you know about Langston Hughes? Raise your hand. Huh? He did write some books. Does anybody else know anything about him?
He's black.
Heard of him? Yes, he is African American. He's black. And so, did anybody know what kind of things he often writes about?
Ain't it? Scary thing? No, it's not.
No, not Langston Hughes. Alright, so I'm going to say he's black. So what do you think, breakfast in Virginia? What state, where is Virginia? Is it Virginia or South?
South. To the east.
Alright, so this is to the south. Alright, so we can make up some predictions. What do you think this story might be about?
The South.
Okay?
Young Carl.
African Americans or black people in the South, and you've already started reading the introduction, so you made some guesses. Good. All right, so we've done our first step. We've underlined the title and the author. We made some predictions.
Who's Jim Crow?
Now we're going to get to that in just a second. Now let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and look at the questions. We're going to note in stands for note what each question is asking. So what we want to do is we want to circle 1 to 3 keywords in each question and define words that we might not know. So what is one difference between Corporal Ellis and Corporal Williams? I would say this is important. It's important to circle the word difference. And then I'm going to circle these characters' names, Corporal Ellis and Corporal Williams. All right, let's do that too. If I'm writing on the board, you're writing on your paper. If I'm writing on the board, you're writing on your paper. So we're flipping all the way back to the questions because we're on step in. Note what the question's asking.